Yes, thank you, boys. Appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:30 on this May 4th, 74 degrees. I'm Mike Ewing.
And I'm Jamel Holliperrick. So glad you're joining us. It is Woo Friday. We don't have as much energy as those little boys, but
no,
we do our best.
I wish I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be pumped. And the weather?
Going to be nice.
A little hot today, but going to get some cooler temperatures in a couple of days.
Kind of nice, I think.
Preview of summer, yeah. Temperatures have been, well, hot, nice last couple of days. A little bit breezy yesterday, not so much today. I think we'll slash the breezy from the picture this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 80s by noon, up into the low 90s for a high. 92 at Wichita. That's 4 degrees warmer than yesterday, if you're keeping track. Dense fog advisory in effect this morning for the northwestern part of our state. That's until 9 a.m. We do have clouds in the northeast, and that's actually what's left over from some strong storms that popped up here in south central Kansas much earlier this morning, just after midnight. Temps right now in the 50s out west. We have 60s and 70s across the eastern half of the state. 71 Hutch, 72 degrees in Wichita. Winds coming around to the south for us. They'll be out of the south in the east, light and variable in the west, but not quite as breezy as yesterday. Plenty of sunshine overall today. Everyone up into the low to mid 90s for highs. Warmest temps in the southwestern part of the state. A repeat performance, it looks like, for Saturday, so we're going to start out the weekend summer-like, but cooler temps not too far off early next week. More on that here in just a bit.
Okay, thanks, Ben. We are following some breaking news this morning. A 4-hour standoff in southeast Wichita has ended peacefully.
It's an update to a story we told you about last night at 10. It all started last night about 8:45 when 911 dispatchers received several calls reporting shots fired in the 11,000 block of East Long Lake. That's near Greenwich Road, and Harry. When officers arrived, they determined that they identified a suspect and tried to convince that person to come out, but he instead retreated from the porch back into the house, and that's when they moved in.
SWAT had to be called, but the individual, once we gained access to the entry to the house, ultimately gave up and was taken into custody without incident.
Officers did find a house in the 11,000 block of East Funston that had some shots fired at it, at least one shot hitting the house. There were 5 people inside that home at the time, none of them hurt, luckily. Police are currently questioning the suspect. He could face charges of shooting into an occupied house.
For breaking news stories, when they happen, go to KAKE.com. You can also get breaking news by following KAKE News on Twitter or on the KAKE TV Facebook page. And before you head out the door, we want to catch you up with what happened while you were sleeping.
Yes, besides that standoff. And for that, let's check in with Phil White, live in the KAKE newsroom. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Mike and Jamel. 2 people had to be flown to a Wichita hospital after a one-car rollover crash in Cowley County late last night. This happened about 10 o'clock near 132nd Road and Cowley 3. That's just northeast of Oxford, or about 6 miles south of Udall. The 2 people were flown from the scene by separate medical helicopters. Cowley County Sheriff's deputies tell our news partners at KSOK Radio, who took the picture you see here, the car was northbound on Cowley 3 when it tried to pass another vehicle and the driver lost control. That car entered the ditch, hit a pole, and then flipped. The car that hit that pole hard enough it caused the top of the pole to snap off. Deputies had to shut down the county highway for a while. It is back open this morning. The names of those involved in this crash have not been released, but both victims are still in critical condition in Wichita. Live in the newsroom, Phil White, KAKE News.
Okay, thank you, Phil, for that report. It was 5 years ago today that the town of Greensburg, Kansas was hit by a deadly EF5 tornado. The 1.7-mile-wide tornado destroyed 95% of the town with wind speeds of 205 miles per hour. 10 people in the town died and at least 60 people were injured. It was the strongest tornado of an outbreak that day that spans several states. Today, the city will be presented with the Victims Memorial to the city of Greensburg at the Big Well Museum under the water tower in the town at about 2 o'clock.
Work is to continue at Hawker Beechcraft this morning after the company announces restructuring plans. Thursday, Hawker Beechcraft announced a prearranged Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing. According to the plane maker, the company reached agreement with a majority of its lenders and bondholders to the restructuring plan. It eliminates about $2.5 billion in debt and about $125 million of annual cash interest expense. Hawker's had financial trouble dealing with all its debt during the general aviation downturn.
They've been telling us all along that they're going to file the Chapter 11, so it's really nothing new to us, and there's not going to be any change in work policies and work structure, so business as usual.
Hawker's news release saying the company will continue its operations without interruption during the restructuring process.
Leaders and experts in the community say the announcement was not surprising, but rather disappointing. Wichita and Sedgwick County leaders say they have been in conversation with leaders of Hawker Beechcraft and were not surprised the company filed for Chapter 11. The aircraft maker's CEO Steve Miller says the restructuring plan is supported by a majority of its lenders and bondholders.
Bankruptcy doesn't give them the ability just to jettison off all their contracts and obligations. It makes them retool them, rethink them, revisit their partners, come to agreements, and then move forward. And I think that's what we'll do as a county and a city and the state, too.
City and county officials say their legal staff will continue overseeing the company's Chapter 11 filing. Leaders say they will do everything to make sure the company honors its contracts.
New this morning, Overland Park police are asking for your help in identifying 3 suspects who used checks stolen from a Wichita victim. Officers say the suspects used the stolen checks at retail businesses on April 19th and 24th. Now, you're going to see some pictures of the 3 suspects. There they are. The total loss in this crime is about $2,800. If you recognize any of these people and have information on this case, you're asked to call the TIPS hotline at area code 816-474-TIPS. That's 816-474-TIPS.
There are new developments overnight in the diplomatic standoff in China.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is feverishly working on a further resolution, and now the blind activist says he fears for his life and is desperate to visit the U.S. Tamon Bradley has the latest from Washington.
The stakes are high this morning as Chinese activist Chen Wancheng fights for his freedom. The U.S. is trying to balance its support for human rights while maintaining its important ties with China. Chen left the U.S. Embassy in Beijing to be with his family, but now, fearing for his life, he's begging Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for protection. My situation right now is very dangerous, Chen tells a reporter. Basically, right now, I'm worried. The U.S. is scrambling to come up with a solution.
We want to express our appreciation for the excellent cooperation and outcomes of this 4th meeting.
The State Department says U.S. officials in China have spoken to Chen, who's currently being treated for injuries at a Chinese hospital. If the U.S. decides to help Chen, it may be impossible to get him back from Chinese authorities. Diplomatic discussions are still ongoing, but some Republicans believe the Obama administration dropped the ball.
If these reports are true, this is a dark day for freedom, and it's a day of shame for the Obama administration.
The United States was caught in the middle of the crisis when the blind activist made a daring escape from house arrest and traveled to the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. When Chen agreed to leave the embassy, he and U.S. officials did not know that his wife had apparently been beaten.
The interrogator told her very, very clearly that if your husband did not walk out of a U.S. embassy, we will kill you.
China's foreign ministry says that Chen can apply to study abroad in what may hint at a possible resolution to this crisis. Tamon Bradley, ABC News, Washington.
All right, time now 6:38. Coming up, a toddler makes a shadowy discovery.
We'll show you what we mean when we take a look at this week's viral video, so stay with us.
Starting out this day with a dense fog advisory in effect for the northwestern part of Arkansas. That's until 9 a.m. Very mild temps around the entire state. It's going to turn into a sunny, hot afternoon, though. Your forecast coming up. Good morning once again, everyone. We do have scattered clouds for now in the south central part of the state, but nothing in the way of precipitation, at least in KAKE land. Temperatures are mild. We've had south winds hanging in there throughout the night, 72 degrees with a south-southeast wind at 14 miles per hour. Dense fog advisory also in effect for the northwestern part of our state. That's until 10 a.m. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s here in the central parts, 63 in Great Bend, and a little cooler yet out west with mid to upper 50s scattered throughout the western part of our state. Winds trying to come back around to the south, and they'll be a little breezier today in the east, but not as windy as yesterday. And I think winds will continue light across western Kansas. Showers and thunderstorms still trying to make their way out of northeastern Kansas, and they were briefly intense as they moved through south central parts of our state, through northern Sedgwick County and southern Harvey County. We even had 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping-pong ball-sized hail. with that brief thunderstorm. Noon today, mostly sunny skies. South winds in the east, light and variable winds out west. By 3 p.m. it's going to be hot. Low to mid 90s around the state for highs. A few degrees warmer than yesterday, most locations. 6 p.m. still clear skies. Light south winds here in the south central part of the state. That'll be the case through the evening, and in fact that'll be the case all night long. Daybreak Saturday looks like a sunny start for us. In fact, tomorrow really looks like a repeat performance of today. Plenty of sunshine, south winds in the east, light and variable winds out west, and it looks like temperatures up into the low to mid 90s again statewide, pretty much for afternoon highs. But by late Saturday, cool front's going to push into northwestern Kansas, and that'll drop temps a bit across the western portions of our state for Saturday night. Slight chance of a thunderstorm for us all by Sunday. Wichita area today around the noon hour. Mostly sunny skies, 86 degrees, south winds of 8 to 18, 92 for a high today. South winds not quite as breezy this afternoon, 89 by 6 p.m. And it looks like we'll be dropping only into the low 80s by 9 p.m. this evening. High temps here in the south central part of the state up into the low 90s. We'll call it 92 around here. Looks like we're going to drop into the upper 60s tonight for a low. North central part of the state becoming sunny after a cloudy start. 92 for a high in Salina. Looks like you're going to drop into the mid 60s for lows. Out west, a little bit of fog in northwestern Kansas. Becoming sunny here though too, with temperatures up into the low to mid 90s. And under clear skies tonight, mid to upper 50s for lows. Here's your planner. It shows more sunshine for Saturday and temperatures once again in the low 90s. But again, a cool front's going to roll through here Sunday. That'll bring us a slight chance of a thunderstorm. Temps around 10 degrees cooler Sunday. And looks like we're going to drop another 10 degrees or so for early next week. Early next week doesn't look quite as stormy as it did this time yesterday. So just a couple of bouts of thunderstorms. That'll be Sunday evening primarily and then next Tuesday. But most of next week, much cooler with highs only in the 70s. So just a brief taste of summer.
Okay.
All right. 7-day planets from around the rest of the state.
Time once again for Live Traffic with Steve McIntosh in the KNSS Traffic Center. Hello again, Steve.
Woohoo, Friday, everybody. And the traffic conditions, driving conditions, pretty doggone good out there. Visibility's good. Pavement's dry, not a lot of wind, so you should have smooth sailing on your commute this morning. We have no major tie-ups or accidents to tell you about. The usual spots, you could see some bottlenecks up on 54 and 235 and K96, but so far, things moving pretty well. $3.49 a gallon is what we're seeing on gasoline prices this morning. KNSS Traffic Central, I'm Steve McIntosh.
Thanks, Steve. Okay. May is your month to win some big prizes in KAKE Land's 31 Prizes in 31 Days contest.
Today's prize is a PS3 gaming console from Two Men and a Truck. Just go to our Facebook page and like us, then like that day's sponsor. It's that easy. We have a new contest every day starting at noon with a new prize. So good luck.
That's a nice prize right there, about $400 worth, so good deal.
Terrific. All right, 6:46 now, and coming up, do you remember how you reacted to seeing your shadow for the first time?
Thanks to his parents, at least one toddler will. That's next in this week's viral video. Stay with us, you got to see it.
Good morning, Kansas. 6:48 on this Woohoo Friday, May 4th. Welcome back.
And time now for a look at one of the week's most popular web videos and what's gone viral.
Well, you know the old saying, he's afraid of his own shadow. Well, it might have been based on this young toddler. Take a look.
Look, Dad. Shadow, look. Hi, Shadow. Can you wave? Hi. Wave hi. Look, right there, right there. Right there. It's under you, right there. Yeah, hi. That's you. Say hi.
Oh, that is cute.
No matter what you do, you can't get away from your shadow.
Shadow. And you can see he's kind of thinking, do I want to get away from this?
Yes.
What is this? And then the little waving. I love that. I remember my dog Cooper, when he used to see his shadow, he would bark, 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 bark like crazy. Like he was almost afraid of it.
That's
that was
funny.
Sweet, that little baby there. Someday they'll show him that. And his girlfriend.
And he'll laugh about it.
Yes. Let's get over to Ben for a look at our forecast.
Good Friday morning, everyone. We're going to have to find the shadow of a tree or something this afternoon. It's going to be sunny and hotter than yesterday, up into the mid-80s by noon, up into the low 90s for a high today. In fact, it looks like low to mid-90s for highs across the state. 92 here in Wichita. Dense fog advisory in effect till 9 a.m. for the northwestern part of our state. Give yourself some extra time there. Visibility is now down to about 1/8 of a mile in a couple spots. 71 Hutch, 72 Wichita, 67 in Salina. We have 50s out west. Winds trying to come back around to the south. They'll be out of the south here in the eastern half of the state, but not all that gusty. In fact, I think they'll be a little less breezy than yesterday. Becoming sunny statewide today with temperatures up into the low to mid-90s everywhere for highs. Hottest part of the state, southwestern Kansas. Repeat performance it looks like for Saturday. Cooler air headed our way for Sunday. Slight chance of a thunderstorm by Sunday afternoon. Much cooler by early next week. Mike, Jamel.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Time now, 6:51. Coming up, a 4-hour standoff keeps Southeast Wichita residents on edge much of the night. We'll have details on how it started and how it all ended.
And a good Friday morning to all of you. Coming up here, a bizarre hang gliding tragedy, a tourist falling to her death during a tandem ride. The pilot now stands accused of hiding key evidence by swallowing it. So what will investigators do now? That's next right here on Good Morning America.
One oil company has emerged as the drilling leader in south central Kansas. That's next in a check of headlines from the Wichita Business Journal. Stay with us.
Good morning, Kansas. 6:54 on this Friday, May 4th. 72 degrees. Welcome back.
Sand Ridge Energy has committed the most rigs to drilling for oil in south central Kansas and north central Oklahoma.
Bill Roy, editor of the Wichita Business Journal, is here with more on that and other local business headlines. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Yeah, the company says the results are promising. Some Kansas oil companies are questioning whether production will match the hype of the Mississippian oil play. Sand Ridge has drilled more than all its other competitors combined. The company says 20 to 25% of the 380 wells the company has drilled are on the Kansas side. And companies researching job applicants should think twice about checking out Facebook pages and Twitter accounts. Experts we talked to say it could get companies in trouble. Title VII violations are possible if companies don't have an independent third party do the checking for them. Those third party companies can research job applicants and redact information that could get them in trouble. More about that in today's Wichita Business Journal. And a Wichita company is looking for workers, but more and more of them are looking for workers with specific skills. That bodes well for graduates of tech schools such as Wichita Area Technical College. WATC boasted an 84% placement rate for graduates for the 2011 academic year. That has now improved to nearly 95%.
Wow, nice improvement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. We are following several stories this morning.
One man is in custody after a 4-hour standoff overnight. That standoff in a neighborhood southwest of Harry and Greenwich Road began about 8:45 last night when residents reported a man firing several gunshots. He barricaded himself in a house in the 1100 block of East Long Lake. He surrendered peacefully just before 1 o'clock this morning.
It was 5 years ago tonight that the nation's first EF5 tornado destroyed most of the town of Greensburg. 10 Greensburg residents were killed when the nearly 2-mile wide tornado tore through town. An official memorial to those residents will be dedicated this afternoon. The ceremony is set for 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Big Well Museum.
And as expected, Hawker Beechcraft filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The plane maker says it has reached an agreement with its creditors to reorganize its debt. The reorganization plan eliminates about $1.5 billion in debt. Hawker says the filing will not affect work at the East Wichita plant. Of course, you can find these stories and more online at KAKE.com.
And final check of weather, Ben.
Kind of a cloudy start for us this morning, but it should be a sunny day overall. Not going to be quite as breezy as yesterday, up into the mid-80s by noon, up to around 92 for a high. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect till 9 a.m. for the northwestern part of our state. Temps in the 50s out west, upper 60s and low 70s here in the central part of the state. Once again, becoming sunny today. Not going to be quite as breezy, but a little hotter. Afternoon highs in low to mid-90s. Looks like we're going to take those 90s and at least the start of the weekend. Chance of thunderstorms back by Sunday.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, be sure and follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook.
Have a fantastic weekend.
Bye-bye.